When the holidays start to feel a bit repetitive, reach for a Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry and put your twist on tradition. A bold cranberry and winter spice flavor fusion, Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry is a refreshing way to shake things up this sipping season. And only for a limited time. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
The Disney Plus Hulu HBO Max bundle. The ultimate bundle at an unbelievable price. Starting at $19.99 a month. On Disney Plus, go behind the scenes with Taylor Swift in The End of an Era.
Every single one of us all clicked together.
Battle it out with The Roses on Hulu.
Things are getting a little out of hand.
Well, you think?
And don't miss The Conjuring, Last Rites on HBO Max.
I don't know how to protect you this time.
All these and more streaming this month. Plans starting at $19.99 a month. Terms apply. Visit Disney Plus Hulu HBO Max Bundle.com for details.
In Walmart's Nouville, time was ticking away. Only a few nights left till the big holiday. But last-minute gifters had no need to worry. Walmart Express Delivery got their gifts in a hurry. From Nintendo to Nespresso and Lego flowers, they could check off their lists in as fast as an hour. All of Nouville, East, West, South, and North, could order gifts up until 5 p.m. on December 24th. So this holiday, just do as the Who's do. With gift delivery this fast, they all gasped. From Walmart, who knew? Subject to availability, terms and fees apply.
This episode is presented by State Farm. Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing the protection of an offensive guard on the football field, but getting an elementary school crossing guard. Sure, they're both guards, but you can only trust one to keep your quarterback safe when the game is on the line. So don't settle for just any insurance when there's State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Here's my 30-second story with Guinness. As soon as my sister and I get home for the holidays, we don't even unpack. We head straight to our pub. The bartender already knows our order, Guinness and fries. We laugh all night, catch up with old friends, and walk home with faces sore from smiling. It's one of my favorite nights of the year. That was my 30-second story with Guinness.
Guinness Draft Stout. Please enjoy responsibly. Imported by Diageo Beer Company, USA, New York, New York.
Down inside the 5. And
Easy to uncover. Big target for your quarterback. Now can you get a stop? Morris tossed to the right. They want to throw back. It's Taylor. Wants to take a shot. Fires downfield. It's intercepted. Luke Burkett with the pick. And the Blue Devils, for the first time in 36 years, are champions of the ACC. Battered and bruised. They found a way. It is a wild scene here in Charlotte.
Hey, everybody. DBR Podcast, episode 777. We are taking flight like a jet engine because we're doing things a little different this morning, I should say. It's Sunday, December 7th. I'm Donald Wine. I have not slept that much because yesterday was one of the great days in Duke sports history. I have Jason Evans with me. I also have Scott Rich with me. We're all here because Duke football is ACC champions. Jason, how are we feeling this morning?
Oh, my God. I mean, what a day to be a Duke fan. And I love the fact, by the way, I know it's just an accident, a happenstance or whatever, that the games were spaced out by a little while. Like,
we needed the break.
Yeah, I watched it. And by the way, so folks understand, we'll be getting to the Michigan State game. Separate episode. We're trying to figure it all out today. You're going to have a lot of content in your feed because there's just a lot to talk about. But I love the fact that, like, we got a nice early Duke Michigan State basketball game, got a few hours to get some things off the honey-do list, run some errands, all that other kind of stuff, and then come home and watch just one of the epic games in ACC history, the only overtime game in ACC championship history, and the Blue Devils win it in, I mean, unbelievably dramatic fashion. God, that was fun. That was just a great day to be a Blue Devil.
We started off the day with basketball, like across all of sports. We end the day with Duke football being crowned as ACC champions. Scott, how did you deal with this between the baby feedings?
I was about to say, I unlocked a new dad accomplishment by not waking the baby at any point during that football game.
You get 10. That's 10 points for you, sir, in the dad
exactly.
accomplishment. Yes.
As we were blowing things sort of in the end of the fourth quarter, quiet dejection rather than cursing and screaming. After the interception, lots of fist pumping and gesticulating, no screaming. It worked. Baby was not awoken. great success.
I'll tell you, I don't have a baby, and I live by myself. So I'm actually surprised that my building did not email me this morning about the noise that I generated last night. Man, this is a great one. Duke wins 27-20 in overtime. First ACC title for Duke since 1989. That one was shared, ironically, with Virginia.
By the way,
yeah.
My senior year, 1989.
Yeah.
I was not born.
Oh, wow. You're
The
young.
first ACC championship in my life.
Oh, my God.
It's the first outright ACC title since 1962. And I believe Matthew.
I was not born. I was not born.
None of us were born in that one.
1962.
But I believe this is also the 9th time that a school has won both Duke men's basketball ACC title and a football ACC title in the same year. Hat tip to, I believe, Matthew Lofton, who sent us that. This was the 9th one.
And we're also reigning women's ACC basketball champions, too, lest we forget.
That's correct. We have a lot of ACC champions here. Also, congratulations to the Duke women's soccer team. They lost in the semifinal of the NCAA tournament on Friday night, but you are a part of this special occasion by getting to the final in the first year of their head coach as well. Okay, I have one headline. I know we have a bunch of headlines. As Jason mentioned, this is the football episode. Immediately after this, we're going to record the basketball episode. You will get both in your feeds at the same time, so you can listen to 777 and 778 and let that carry you through your Sunday. This is one of the busiest weekends of my life, so I only got one football headline, and it's from my man Eric Overton, who wrote, DUKE, who just won the ACC, Duke. Y'all can fill in the rest. Oh, wait, Jason told me this is going to be explicit. I'm filling this in for you, Eric. Duke, motherfuckers. Yes, right. Duke just won the ACC championship. I'm still in disbelief, Jason.
So I wanted to mention we got a great email from Dave Jordan, and he said this was fabulous. Dave said, and Scott, you're going to get to react to this because you don't get the DBR podcast email, so you get to react to this in real time. Turn Scott's mic up. Ready? So Dave pointed out, he goes, one of my favorite quotes of all time about Duke football was after Steve Spurrier went on to coach in the NFL. And one of the commentators for ESPN said, people think this guy can't coach in the NFL. You forget he won an ACC football championship at Duke. That's like Warren Sapp winning the Kentucky Derby on a Clydesdale. So Dave Jordan says his headline is, Warren Sapp just won the Kentucky Derby on a Clydesdale. That is.
So I think that's a great Duke ineptitude quote. My freshman year was the year that Duke won a lawsuit against, I believe it was Louisville, to get out of a non-conference schedule. And their legal argument was any FBS school is an equal or better competition than Duke. That is what is in our contract. You cannot, and that legal argument that Duke was the worst power conference team won.
Yeah, no,
that's where we were, folks.
The specific quote was, we are so bad that any FBS team will be an equal or better alternative. And the judges were like, they are absolutely correct. And look, that was my time. I remember when we canceled that. It was right after I graduated from Duke. I was obviously a video assistant on the football team, so I watched a lot of terrible football back then. Shout out Sam Klein, who was a manager on the team in the early years of Cutcliffe. Like, guys like that. And I know in Charlotte, there was a ton of people who went to Charlotte on short notice. To see so many of the former football players, some of the basketball players going back to live in this moment. Like, again, this time a week ago, we were kind of like, wait, we're really playing a football game on Saturday. I can't believe how we figured this out. But we made the most of this opportunity. And I will also say this as the wine bowl, the Miami alum of this group. Manny Diaz was fired from Miami to make room for Mario Cristobal, and Manny Diaz won an ACC championship before Mario Cristobal. That is amazing.
Hey, I wanted to point out something. There have been, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 11 power conference teams who have won 8+ games in each of the last 4 seasons. This is quite an accomplishment, and this is quite a list. Here is the list of power conference teams who've won 8 or more games in each of the past 4 seasons. It's the big boys. It's Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, Texas, Michigan, Oregon, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Louisville, Iowa, and Duke. Wait, one of these things is not like the others.
I don't believe so. I believe all those things are like the others. Yeah, we haven't won a national championship, but we're recording before the college football playoff makes a decision. So we'll see if they give us it. We'll talk about the projections after the break.
Let's talk about it now. Let's talk about it now. Or
the All-State playoff predictor, guys.
No, I have a whole
they had
thing
to show
for
it every commercial break. Our less than 0.1% chance from the magical All-State playoff predictor.
I have a whole rant on it. We're going to save it for after the break.
Donald, let's do this. Let's talk about the game. We'll take our quick commercial break, and then we can do the other stuff on the other side.
That was my plan. So I want to talk about the actual game. And the funny thing is, Jason and Scott, if this was basketball, Ken Pom would be like, this is like he would have stopped counting possessions because he would have only had to get to like 5, right? This was a very slow game where both teams had lengthy drives going down the field and either getting points or not getting points. But it started off with Duke getting the ball and just a methodical 10-minute drive to start this game, really set the tempo for possessions were going to be super important. It wasn't a game where guys were like, oh, don't worry, they're going to score real quick, then we're going to get back out there and score real quick. They had to make the use of everything. We were converting third downs. We were converting fourth downs. I really enjoyed this game. And honestly, as a neutral, the amount of people who were neutrals that were texting me saying, yo, your Duke boys are showing something. This is a really, really good game. And the fact that we were up against the Big Ten championship, which was an equally good game between number 1 and number 2, the fact that a lot of people had us on their TV screen and were commenting about how this game, from a neutral standpoint, was a really good one. The defenses were showing up. The offense was showing up at times. There were big plays. There were timely plays. I think it made it a little bit nervous, obviously, in the fourth quarter, as Scott alluded to, with that we were up 10 points and kind of gave it away pretty quickly. But that was the only time that there was quick scores in this game other than overtime. And so I really liked the fact that our offense was able to do what they need to do, and our defense throughout, I'd say, the first 3 quarters really stepped up. They made some big plays. They had a couple of plays that stopped drives, a couple of fourth down stands. Jason, talk about the defense, talk about the offense, wherever you want to go with this game.
Well, really quick, I want to mention something. I want to talk about some of the big plays in this game and the guys who made those plays. Just to really quickly, look ahead and look back. So first of all, Jeremiah Hazley's first TD, where he just ran over some dude. I love that. And Donald, like you said, that was the culmination of like a 9.5-minute drive. I think I read that Duke had the 2 longest, in terms of time on the clock, 2 longest drives in ACC championship history in this game. This Duke team that, early in the year was all pass. It was all Darian Mensah, pass, has really transformed into a team that is now running a tremendous amount of the time. We ran the ball. I should have the stats in front of me. I just don't have it up at the moment. I don't want to slow us down by looking for it. I want to say we ran the ball 40+ times. We only passed the ball like 20 times.
So I've got those stats up, Jason.
Go, Scott.
So,
go.
Okay,
yeah.
So we threw the ball 25 times. We ran the ball 44 times. We held the ball for 34 minutes in comparisons to Virginia's 25. Just for comparison, a few weeks ago when we lost to Virginia, we threw the ball 35 times, ran it just 23, lost the time of possession battle by exactly the inverse of what we had this week. There was a concerted change from Manny Diaz to run the ball down Virginia's throats, and it worked.
Well, so I want to get back. I mentioned Hazley's first touchdown. His second touchdown, the game winner on 4th down, was a great example of Darian Mensah just being patient and letting the play happen. And by the way, I mean, the call to go for it on 4th down when you have the ball first in overtime. Manny Diaz doesn't walk on legs. He walks on his balls. I mean, he has giant, huge balls to do that play. I can't believe. I was really bummed because we had 1st and goal from like the 3 and we just couldn't get it in. And you're like, okay, well, on 4th down, you're kicking that. Every team in America is kicking that field goal. No one's going for it. What are you doing? It's unfathomable in overtime that you would do that, because ordinarily, if you don't make that play, they're just coming out and kicking the field goal and it's all done. It just such huge balls on this man. And by the way, same guy who ran a fake punt up the middle on his own 35 in a tie game in the second quarter. Like, I was like, what are we even doing? He's playing with house money. He doesn't care. It was unbelievable. Duke was playing with such confidence. We went 4 for 4 on fourth down in this game. What are we talking about? Amazing. Manny Diaz. And if any one of them goes wrong, he looks like a total buffoon, but they all went right.
I don't know that he does, because that's how we've been playing all year. Look, again, it's like the Detroit Lions. We go for it on fourth down. People are kind of like, yep, that's what they do. And they either get it, and when we miss it, yeah, sure, people are like, yo, why did you let him do that? Because he does it every time. That's our mentality. Like Manny Diaz has stepped up especially in the last few games, and basically said, fuck what they think about us, right? Like, that's what this whole week has been about. Everyone's been talking about, oh, Duke should not be in the championship game. Duke shouldn't be mentioned for the playoff. Duke should this. Duke shouldn't be that. What the fuck does it matter, right? Like, it's about the fact that Manny Diaz said, hey, we've been doing this to get to this point. We've had to take some risks, and we've had to be fearless in taking those risks. This is the third straight game they've done a fake kick, and it worked, right? This is the third game in a row where they've said, you know what, we're going for every fourth down. And like, Todd Polino, poor guy, was sitting on the sideline like, oh, you actually need me this time. Cool. Yeah, let me grab a helmet, right? These are things that we have built the program about on the last, like, especially over the last 6 weeks, where risks are going to get us rewards, or they're going to leave us in the same spot we are. Scared money don't make no money. That's what we did against Clemson. That's what we did last week when we had a bunch of fourth down plays. And that's what we did last night when he decided, with the ball in overtime, let's go for it on fourth down, and trust the guys that they're going to make a play. And even if they don't make a play, they have the confidence that next time I call that, they're going to make the play again. Like, that is what this team has built themselves upon. And even learning from 3 weeks ago when we got blasted by Virginia because of turnovers and penalties, we saw what happens. We held them to the field goal when we had the one interception. And then even with the last play or last drive that Virginia had, where we had a couple of penalties, some were dubious, some were some questionable calls there, but they overcame that and said, hey, we're going to overtime. That means a new lease on life. And again, another chance to take a risk that everyone else would consider risk, but we would call it playing football.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think risks is the right term. I think Manny Diaz played to win the game, not to not lose the game. Each of those fourth down calls were choices to win the game. Even in the fourth quarter, some decisions didn't quite work out. The run by Nate Shepard out of bounds in a different universe were lamenting that. But on that drive, Manny Diaz was making play calls to get the first down to win the game rather than string it out. And you can contrast that with that game that was on the other TV channel last night, where a certain other coach played to not lose the game rather than win the game. Thank you, sir. And that didn't turn out quite well for them. Another 13-10 loss for a certain school in a certain state. Manny Diaz played to win the game. He understood the assignment of Duke has one chance to make a statement this year. It doesn't matter if we lose by a bajillion. That's what everyone's expecting to. All that matters is that we win this game, whatever it takes. And that's how he coached.
You know, you're talking about, Scott, you're talking about the third down play with 3 minutes left, where Darian Mensah runs around for like 10 seconds to the backfield. It's like crazy. By the way, huge props to the Duke offensive line for not holding, not making an illegal block or anything. I saw one guy at one point, like, one of the guys threw a block by like turning his body sideways. It was like a great, like, rewatch that.
It was on that play. It was on that play. He just
that's what I'm talking about.
Threw his hands up and kind of hip checked him. Like,
yeah. It was, and it bought Mensah the time to find Cooper Barkate for a first down, and that was the moment I was like, I'm sure Duke is winning this game. Now, a couple moments later, we have the penalty that functionally serves as a timeout, and then Nate Shepard steps out of bounds, and I'm like, Duke's losing this game.
Can we also just say how perfect of a scramble drill that was by Cooper? Darian Mensah is going to get the flowers for that. But Cooper Barkate, the camera view that they showed on the replay of Barkate noticing that it's a scramble drill and just dead on sprinting from the left side of the field to the right side of the field and then making himself available. That's practice, that's summer drills, that's fall camp in action from a guy who went to Harvard. So not all that surprising.
So really quick, and then I want to let Donald get back in because we're getting around to the point that I was going to make a while ago when I mentioned Jeremiah Hazley. So there's that great. I agree. Barkate makes an incredible play there. We're in that position because of Nate Shepard's TD run, which by the way was hysterical. It looked like he's like swallowed up by a cloud of humanity, and then suddenly the Virginia guys are like, "Where's the ball carrier?" And Shepard's just running free into the touchdown. It was awesome. But the point I wanted to make was the guys that we're talking about right here: Darian Mensah, Hazley, Barkate, the Nate train. All these guys have eligibility. All these guys absolutely can come back to Duke next season. And I know a little bit later on, we're going to take a break, and then a little bit later on, we're going to talk about the college football playoff and all this other kind of stuff. With these kind of position players, these kind of skill players, a QB, a running back, a wide receiver, a tight end, coming back next year, hopefully, dear Lord, please, I hope they all come back. I think they are. Duke could be a contender for the ACC title in the college football playoff, not based on quirks, not based on craziness, but based on quality of the team. I'm super excited for the future of this program.
Last point I had on the actual game, and then we'll take a quick break. Scott, you mentioned the fact that, we were deciding to go for it, and you talked about the other game with that other team, with that other coach who decided to play it safe and just go for the tie or not even go for tie, but just like, hey, just play conservatively. This is the point where I said, this is going to be something that's going to show itself, is when Virginia comes all the way back. They're down 10. They come back. They score the touchdown on a play where I thought that they called that we had pushed the guy out of bounds, but there was no contact. We'll leave that.
You know what? Hey, Donald, that was that was a great throw and an incredible reception. Give Virginia all their flowers on that one.
Yeah. Like
I'm
I
fine
said,
with that.
Leave that for another day. We had a similar position, right? A few weeks ago at Clemson. And what did Manny Diaz do? He said, I don't know what overtime is. I'm going for the win right here.
Yep.
And when Virginia, who came all the way back, decided, hey, we're the better team. Let's just play it safe. We'll get them in overtime. I don't think they realized it, but I know Manny Diaz at that moment, he said, they're going for overtime? Okay, watch this. And that is where this team took it to another level. Again, going forward on fourth down. If we mentioned the real key of that play as well was not just Mensah making a touchdown, but also absorbing the contact when getting hit. He gets the penalty call on him, which backs up Virginia to the 40-yard line to start their series. And then they decided to do a trick play as if they've been doing trick plays all year. And as soon as they did the little flea flicker throwback, I was like, this is ending in disaster. And I didn't know it was going to end in an interception, but I knew it was going to end in disaster. And a great play again to read that. Our team was basically like, this is stuff we see in practice all the time. You're not fooling us. And the fact that they were in the position to make the play when it counted the most. And I'll say this might be Duke covered glasses on. I don't think anyone's going to celebrate an ACC football championship more than this team celebrated at that moment during the ceremony on the field. This is a team that knew they just needed a chance to get to that position, and they would make the most of the opportunity. And I love despite again the road to and the path to success. I've told people when I officiate weddings, the path to happiness and success is not straight and is never paved. Sometimes it's curved, sometimes there's cobblestones, sometimes there's gravel, sometimes you get flat tires. But in the end, as we say in basketball, sometimes it's the journey. And the fact that these guys went through all those struggles this year, and to see it pay off with that play and that moment, and to see how they celebrated it, I love this team forever. That's my mini rant on this particular team. We'll save the rest of it for after the break. But Jason, before we break, you got one, and then Scott.
Yeah, so I wanted to mention, first of all, say his name, Luke Murgott.
Yeah,
that interception that seals the game for Duke is made by Luke Murgott. And I want to point out, Luke is a linebacker. He's just a sophomore. He started out the year a little bit further back on the depth chart. Like in Duke's first three games, He makes a total of 4 tackles in Duke's first 3 games. This is, he was playing, but he wasn't playing a lot. And then Duke runs into all these injuries. And suddenly, by midseason against Georgia Tech and Clemson, Luke Murgott's making 11, 12 tackles per game. Mm-hmm. Against UVA, he had 9 tackles. Against UVA, he also had the first interception of his entire career. This was a Duke team that had a lot of adversity this season. And for them to now be functionally cutting down the nets, tearing down the goalposts, I don't know what you call it when you win a football championship, but whatever it is, they be doing it right now. And that is a real testament to the character, to the coaching, to all the intangible things, all the hard work that goes into being a champion. And these guys deserve every ounce of it. And I'm frustrated they're not going to make the college football playoff. We'll get into it. Sorry. I'm getting ahead. Go. Sorry, Scott. Go.
I was you stole what I was going to say. Luke Murgott, another guy with eligibility, another guy who's going to be the core of next year's team. Knock on wood in this crazy world. The core of the ACC championship team could be coming back to Durham next year. That's fun.
Look, I'm sorry. I got some notes. I believe he has changed his name overnight. You need to address him as ACC champion Luke Murgott, because that's who he is. Let's take
it's on the driver's license. He put it on his driver's license.
Put it on his driver's license already. He's very quick DMV down in North Carolina. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side, you're going to hear my rant about why Duke won't make the playoff, but maybe should, but I don't care. We're going to talk about all the college football projections after this.
Hey, the holidays are almost here, and if you have names still on your list, don't panic. Uncommon Goods makes holiday shopping stress-free and joyful. With thousands of one-of-a-kind gifts you can't find anywhere else, you'll discover presents that feel meaningful and personal, never rushed or last minute.
You know, Uncommon Goods has something for everyone, from moms and dads to kids and teens, from book lovers and sports fans to foodies, mixologists, and gardeners. You'll find unforgettable gifts that are anything but ordinary. And perhaps most importantly, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. Every purchase is a chance to choose something remarkable and feel good about where your money goes.
Look, so don't wait. Make this holiday of the year you give something truly unforgettable. To get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/DukeBB. That's uncommongoods.com/DukeBB and get 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods. We're all out of the ordinary.
When evaluating potential hires for your small business, it's essential you look beyond resumes. Sure, a candidate may appear impressive on paper, but understanding the person is crucial. LinkedIn, the world's largest professional network, provides a complete view of your candidate's skills, experiences, and interests. With LinkedIn's up-to-date data, you can be confident that you really know who you're hiring. Post your free job at linkedin.com/achieve. That's linkedin.com/achieve. Terms and conditions apply.
We're only a few weeks in, and the season is already wild. Stars are going off, freshmen are making noise, and the action doesn't stop. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is where you can get in on all of it for pro and college basketball.
Yeah, and don't forget the holiday tournaments and the Emirates NBA Cup. Big moments, big matchups, and a whole lot on the line. Don't miss out. Jump in and bet on the action today.
So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code DukeBB. That's code DUKEBB. Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
This episode is brought to you by Nature's Bounty. Nature's Bounty believes your body is brilliant, naturally designed to thrive, inside and out. For those always looking for new ways to support your health from head to heels, Nature's Bounty has a range of over 400 vitamins and supplements born from 50 years of trust and care. Nature's Bounty. It's in your nature. Visit naturesbounty.com to learn more.
While the Who's of Whoville were laughing and eating, the Grinch from his lair sought to wreak havoc on their season. He thought, how do I ruin their holiday meals? A plan sprang to mind, which he enacted with zeal. Dill pickle seasoning on fries will make for a green surprise, and I know they'll be shocked with these loathsome odd socks. So if you want to experience the Grinch's mischievous meal, head to McDonald's and show him how you really feel. The new Grinch meal, now at McDonald's. At participating McDonald's while supplies last. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
All right, we're back. We're still ACC champions in the sport of men's football. Donald here, Jason here, Scott here. We're talking now about what's happening next because as we record, it's just shy of 11 a.m. on the East Coast. The college football playoff selection show has not yet taken place. We are going to be watching it. We honestly are not expecting for Duke to have their name called. But Jason, first of all, talk about that process and how that's probably going to shape out with JMU most likely taking the spot of the ACC football champion.
Yeah, I mean, look, by the time you listen to this, the odds are excellent that we will already know that Duke has not made the playoff. And I think 5 losses is just too many. I mean, 4 would probably be too many, but 5 is certainly too many, especially when you look at who we lost to. Not that we have any terrible. It's not like we lost to a team that's below 500 or something like that, the way Alabama did. But Duke has some. That UConn loss especially is a pretty tough one. I would like to point out, and I said this, Donald, when we were talking about James Madison just a week ago. James Madison played exactly one game against a power conference team. One game against a team that's like top 60 in the country, and they lost that game. They lost that game to Louisville, who's in the ACC. Duke just won the ACC. I mean, Duke's record? So James Madison 0-1 against power conference teams. Duke against power conference teams 7-3. I think that any human being who understands evaluating how good teams are would look at those and go, which team is better? Go ahead and ask Texas A&M. Texas A&M is almost certainly going to be the number 5 team, I think, in the college football playoff rankings. They're going to have to play the number 12 team. Go ahead and ask Texas A&M. Would you rather play Duke or James Madison? Texas A&M would laugh as they picked James Madison for sure. But this is the reality. And the college football playoff committee apparently cares about beating crappy teams more than they do about playing good teams. So, oh well, Duke's not going to get in. It's silly. It's stupid. It's not a reflection of picking the best teams, but it is what it is, and we have to accept it as our fate. Next year, let's win a couple more, the non-conference games, and then we won't have to worry about this.
I'm going to let Scott get in, and then I'm going to do my rant. Go ahead, Scott.
So one of the things I think we've learned this year is that the college football playoff serves essentially to be a reality show. There's no value in releasing the rankings every week, releasing them as early as they do, besides giving talk shows fodder to debate things. And if they hadn't done that, maybe we're having a different conversation because James Madison wouldn't have been put in number 25 last week. But let me just say this. Because this college football playoff is a reality show, what would get more ratings? Mike Elko versus his former team that he left in the middle of the night? Or Mike Elko and Texas A&M annihilating James Madison by 50? It's not going to happen. But if it does, that would be why. And let's just say, for the record, if Duke doesn't make the college football playoff, Duke's presence in what they did this weekend is 100% going to change the way the college football playoff works moving forward. Who knows whether it's for better or for worse? I don't trust the people in charge to make these things better. It'll probably be for the worse. But we're going to remember, every college football fan is going to remember this Duke team for creating chaos that threw the college football playoff off its axis.
Duke is relevant.
So look, here's a couple of things. The first thing is the college football playoff has been very consistent at being inconsistent about their application of their own rules, right? We see it in the Notre Dame Miami debate. We see it in the how do we get Texas into the college football playoff? How do we keep Bama in the SEC machine, the propaganda machine, doing their thing? And one thing that the ACC is not good at is propaganda. The fact that they ran Miami Notre Dame games all week on ACC Network is cool, and it was funny. They should have been doing that for the last month, right? They should have been just peppering the committee who was just sitting there in Grapevine, Texas. And I know exactly where they are. They're just sitting in some ballroom in some nice leather couches watching TV as if it's the Truman Show.
They should have, hey, Donald, they should have also been running Florida State, Alabama games as well.
Right.
Really quick, I'll let you get your rant really quick. Miami deserves a spot in the playoff. There's little question about that. They beat Notre Dame. Everyone's saying, okay, it's Alabama, Miami, and Notre Dame are the three teams competing for the final two spots. Okay, well, Miami beat Notre Dame, and Miami has a common opponent with Alabama. They both played Florida State. Bama got trounced. Miami crushed Florida State. What possible metric, what possible reason do you have for leaving Miami out? I don't understand.
This was part of my rant because I was going to try and get both my alma maters.
I apologize.
Here.
You can edit that part out.
I think the key is here, right? The reason why Notre Dame is above Miami is because they say Notre Dame has better losses than Miami does, but one of those losses is to Miami, right? Then against Bama, they say, well, Bama, yeah, they lost in the title game, but look who they beat. And Miami's going, yes, look at who we all beat. We beat Notre Dame. We beat Florida State, who beat Miami. We beat Florida, who beat Texas, right? They have all of these different wins. And in the case of Duke versus the Dukes, it's the same thing. They're talking about record now. And I get record's a part of that. But also the strength of schedule, Duke is 60 points higher in that regard. Strength of record, they're 60 points higher in that regard. Jason, as you mentioned, all we've basically played all year is Power 4 conference teams. Yes, we're in the ACC, but we also went out of conference to play some teams. We even, if you think about it, we lost to Tulane. Everyone's saying that Tulane is a bad loss. Tulane is about to hear their name called in the college football playoff.
Yep.
So miss me with that, right? If you have a good loss, that sounds like a better loss today than it does yesterday, doesn't it?
Hey, Donald, if Duke had chosen to play bad mid-majors, low majors, whatever, rather than playing Illinois, rather than playing Tulane, rather than playing UConn, who we knew, look, I'm not saying that's murderer's row or anything like that, but we knew all three of those teams were going to be teams that are bowl quality teams, that are good teams, good programs. If we had opted, we could have played, Elons and stuff like that, and North Carolina Centrals and the such. And Duke would be in the playoff today if that had happened. There's no question about it. If Duke goes 4-0, and we could have scheduled a non-conference slate that was 4-0. Heck, if we go 3-1 against our non-conference slate, Duke's in the playoff today. The committee's silly. It's stupid.
It furthers my point, right? There's also the fact that the reason, everyone was talking about how did the 7-5 Duke team get into the ACC championship game? It's because we played the strongest schedule of all those teams. That's what happened. We played in the guys that we normally would think would be at the top of the ACC. Clemson faltered, but we beat them anyway, right? So we have this thing where, again, they're inconsistent with their application of the rules, which is why they're literally talking seriously about bringing in Tulane and JMU. Again, Tulane has played us and they beat us, and I'm not worried about Tulane, but JMU, if you want to do the Cinderella story, that's fine. But don't tell us it's because they're better than us. That's the thing that's tripping me out, is they're thinking that because we have 5 losses that we're not worthy of this. We just beat a team that, as of yesterday, if they had won, would have been in the college football playoffs. So that would make 2 teams that we've beaten that are in this conversation. So to sum it all up is this. I say all this to say, I don't give a fuck if they pick us. If we get to the Military Bowl, I think right now, because we won, we're now being slated for the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Dude, I want the Pop-Tarts Bowl. I want the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Give us the memes.
The coolest bowl there is.
Give me some Pop-Tarts. Have me in the stands with Pop-Tarts all over my face, the crumbs and everything. because I'm going to be doing it, and the seat next to me is going to be the ACC trophy. And if you want to come visit it, because that's where Duke's going to be. I love the fact that this is a conversation, and as my best friend said over the last couple of days, he's like, I kind of want us to miss the playoff because now we could say we were going to win the national championship and they're scared to keep us out. Like there's no way you can argue against it because you didn't put us in there to give us that opportunity. But if they put us in there, I want to see some. Like you said, Kyle Field, what's up? Like you think you're bad and mighty? Wouldn't you love to see, like, if you talk about storylines, because the reason why Florida State was left out after winning their conference, the ACC, is we don't want to see that because that's not what people want to see. This is the better matchup. What storyline is better than Duke maybe having to travel to Kyle Field to face their old coach who left them in the middle of the night, as Scott just said? Like, what? There is no storyline in college football that would be better than that for the playoff. If they don't want that, that's fine. We'll take our trophy and go somewhere else. But miss me with the JMU was better than Duke conversation because they're not. Scott.
Donald, I just want to take a step back and look at the forest through the trees here, which is if Duke doesn't make the college football playoff for the reasons Jason said, even if, Texas, who's not going to make it, when Texas gets left out, there's going to be a concerted storyline amongst the power conference teams of the CFP does not reward aggressive non-conference scheduling. Let's get rid of all of our non-cupcake games. Michigan, Oklahoma next year, maybe we throw that aside. All of those great games, and we could be facing a September that is Cupcake City. Contrast that with arguably the best November in the history of college basketball in terms of the quality of matchups, the number of ranked versus ranked games, just the quality of those games. Why did that happen? Because for all of its flaws, for the most part, the selection committee and the basketball side has said, we care less about the raw number of losses in your record and more about who those losses are to and who your wins are against. That is why Duke went to Michigan State to play in East Lansing. If the college football playoff was running March Madness, there is no way in hell Duke plays Michigan State in East Lansing because there would be no benefit to going to a game that arguably we should have lost, which, by the way, we won, which is why this day was so goddamn special.
Preach. Scott Rich, preach. Yes.
I will leave it at that. Again, we'll be back.
Actually, wait. So super fast.
Oh, you have one more thing. Go ahead.
I forgot to say this earlier, but I wanted to point something out. I had it in my notes. It kind of got buried in my notes in various other places, but I want to point something out. UVA, you are punks. You are scum. You are bad. So in the fourth quarter, when Caleb Weaver had that interception deep in UVA territory, did you guys see what happened at the end of this play?
Yeah, talk about it.
So Caleb Weaver makes the interception. It's over by the Virginia sidelines. And as he's running with the ball, because a defender, when he gets an interception, he's hanging on that ball. There was a UVA equipment manager, a nobody, some dude who shouldn't have been anywhere close to the play, who pokes the ball away from him in an effort to not let the Duke guy get the ball. Fuck him. I can't believe that shit. That guy should have been escorted out of the stadium. He should never be allowed on a sideline again. You do not treat your sideline like some sacred territory that the other team cannot come close to. That is not the way college basketball works. This dude should be banned.
Football. Basketball too.
I'm on a roll.
It works for basketball too. Yeah.
Don't interrupt me. Pearl Harbor, Japanese, okay, hold on. It's happening for me. Seriously, dude should be banned. UVA should be asking for Duke's forgiveness. You do not mess with players who make a play near your sideline. I meant to get to this earlier, and I'm sorry I didn't. I don't know what we're doing with it now, but it deserves to be mentioned. It is classless by UVA, and that kind of stuff should not happen in college football ever.
I do have one closing note, and kind of a light of all this. We're talking about the college football playoff. We're talking about all these bowls and where the chips may settle in 45 minutes. Jim Phillips, I need you to email me, dbrpodcast@gmail.com, because you, sir, need a PR team. You need somebody to go up against the SEC machine and go, this is why ACC teams deserve, to be in the playoff, to be mentioned and all this stuff. We should not be losing the media battle to James Madison University. No disrespect to James Madison. Great school, great football team, great season. But the ACC
full disrespect to
James.
Hold on. Full disrespect to James Madison. They didn't play anybody. They played Louisville. Full disrespect to James Madison. If they think they're good, they should play someone else decent.
It's not the point, Jason. The point is, it doesn't matter how good you think they are. The point is, in the media battle, in the court of public opinion, they're winning against the ACC. That is not JMU's fault. That's why I say no disrespect to them. It's the ACC that needs to step their game up. This will be the second time in 3 years that the conference champion is excluded from the playoff. Think about that. I know last year we got 2 in, and that was kind of a backwards way of getting the 2 in, but that has established a precedent that is going to allow the SEC to get 5 teams in this year. So maybe we didn't win that battle overall, but overall, the conference champion should be in the college football playoff. And the fact that we are probably going to be 2 years out of 3 that is not going to be the case. That is on the ACC office for starting in September with, this is how our teams are. This is how good we are. These are the teams we're playing. If we're going to move to a 9-game schedule and require that we play 10 Power 4 conference teams, you better be ready to back those teams up when they go to East Lansing, right? Or hypothetically, they go to Columbus, or they go to Iowa, or they go to Texas. Because if you don't, we're going to be in this position every year. And I don't like that conversation that the ACC has to be compared to the Sun Belt. Like, I don't like that comparison, and they shouldn't either. Email me, dbrpodcast@gmail.com, Jim Phillips. We would love to have you on the show to explain all this, but also we could be your hype team. We love me. I have 2 ACC.
I think we have been for the last hour already.
Right. I have two reasons this year, at least, why I should be in the media business, because the PR business, because I could have got both Duke and Miami to the playoff. You just give me a little bit of money and a lot of time, I would have done this thing for you.
Yo, we got to go because we got to talk about a basketball game.
Okay, so for all of you out there, this is episode 777. Right after this, we're going to record 778, and you're going to get both at the same time. So we're talking about the football. Yay, Duke, ACC champions. We're going to talk about the bowl stuff later this week when we figure out what bowl we actually get into. But until then, we'll see you in like 10 seconds. We're not going to sign off here. We'll see you in 10 seconds.